Hey! Thanks, Sarah, for jumping another episode of Open Shutter. Once again, it's just myself and our friend Akhter here. Evans is in Ghana. He told me he was going to try to make it, but I don't think he's going to make it. And Bryan is working. So Bryan's back next week, and I think we're doing the Portrait Challenge May 11th. So I think that was announced earlier today. So please send your photos in. But for today, I have the pleasure of Akhter on the show. He is a Toronto-based black and white portrait photographer, and he was kind enough to jump on with us and just kind of share his passion and knowledge to inspire all of us, including myself, because his work is really good. We were just talking offline for a few minutes, and he has some really good stuff. So big thanks, man, for jumping on. If you're coming from actor's side, or if you're just jumping on and you don't know what this show is about, we do this photography show every Wednesday. We try to invite as many guests as possible, and should be a lot of fun. Speaking of Evans, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
He told me, well, the internet connection is good enough. You can jump on, man. It's fine. So yeah, if you don't know who I am, co-host this show, do a bunch of other documentaries and vlog stuff. So check me out if you don't already know who I am. And yeah, like this video, follow us on Instagram. All the stuff's in the description. And yeah, I don't want to keep too much time away from our guests. So thanks again, Actor. Why don't you, for the audience, why don't you give us a little intro
Sure.
about yourself?
Thank you very much, Paul,
Yeah,
for giving me this opportunity. It's a huge honor for me.
yeah,
I'm with the Paul's group, the Get Out and Shoot for the past 2-3 years, and
yeah,
we're going in on different walks, and I've met with a lot of great people, great photographer on his group.
yeah,
Uh, Explored a lot of stuff while on a walk, and took a lot of shots, and applied all these techniques and
yeah.
whatnot, whatever I've learned. But eventually, there was some calling in me that I was thinking to go black and white photography,
Mm,
and after exploring all these photos of nature and landscape and things like that, and sunsets and all the stuff. But then I
yeah,
said, you know what, black and white is the thing to go.
right.
Um, and The first thing that comes into my mind is, why don't I go and thank to all those people? Because I feel I'm so blessed with my family, friends around me. So you know what? I thought maybe I should give them a little appreciation or thanks to them of taking their photographs.
Right.
And that's how I carved out my niche. So I started taking creating portraits, and I called them over. Initially, when I started, I was taking photographs, portraits for my family, of course, my
Yeah,
my wife and my kids, every now and then, and people come and they appreciate it, that it's a
right.
good work that I'm doing. But then I said, just thank them over to
Yeah.
the friends and to the friends, and that's how it just kicks in. uh, it's
Interesting, man.
a lot of inspiration comes from a lot of people and a lot of huge nice photographers in the world.
Right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
100%. I mean, that's the power of just like not just our group, just like having a group in general, is that you're able to like figure out what you like to shoot, right? Because the more times you go out, the more you're gonna realize, oh, I like this style, or I like that style. So for you, it's like it was black and white portraits, right? So
yes.
sometimes for people, it's hard to know what you like when you don't go out enough because you don't have enough exposure to different things. So it's easier to get confused, you know. So to me, like I always tell people, like the hardest part's like leaving the house, right? Like you just need to leave the house and just start doing stuff because
Exactly.
eventually you'll figure out what you like to shoot, right? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And the more you, as you said, you go out, the more you shoot, the more you take pictures,
yeah,
and then it identifies you, what it appeals you, what which kind of techniques you're mastering at, and which medium, which genre you want to go into.
yeah,
It just helps you exploring your identity. And
yeah,
this is what I come across when I joined your group, walk with you, talk to people,
yeah.
to photos. Then I said, you know what, there's something I just need to work on it.
Yeah, and that's how you learn, right?
Yeah.
Because for some people, like photography can be pretty intimidating. So if you're in like an environment where you can ask questions, I think it definitely helps in the long run. So
Yeah. And definitely, I'm very thankful to the YouTube contributor Peter
yeah,
Lindbergh,
yeah,
and to
yeah,
New Platinum. Those are the huge names. They have done a lot of black and white work.
yeah,
Um, the Hasselblad ambassador, Leica ambassadors,
right, right,
their work is really inspiring, and gave me a lot of ideas. And over the period of time, when you take photos, you learn their techniques, you catch their things.
yeah,
Those are writing on the walls, but just read between the lines.
yeah,
So,
100%.
yeah.
And so what's your dream gear? Like what's your dream camera?
dream gear, I dream for Hasselblad and Leica both.
Hmm.
The sharpness, the quality, the pixel, the depth. In Hasselblad, I see the depth of in the photos are amazing. The say, one of the photographer in China, Sail Chong, his photos are amazing. Like,
Mm,
and he always use Hasselblad, or maybe whatever videos I've seen on YouTube are related
yeah,
to Hasselblad. The color rendition, the depth in the picture, the tonality, and all the stuff is
right.
amazing. And same goes for Leica as well. But you know what? Currently, I use Nikon. I'm happy with Nikon.
Yeah. Use what you
Uh,
have, right? Doesn't
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not the camera, it's the photographer, right?
exactly,
Not the
exactly,
camera.
exactly. You nailed it. You nailed it. You know what?
Yeah.
It's basically it's a journey. When you buy a camera, you say it's a tool that it's a toy that you've got. But you know what? Once you cross the point from considering it as a toy or
Hmm.
as a camera to a tool, that's where the journey begins. Once you make it a tool, then that's the journey
Yeah.
begins.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
I
So,
just started my journey, I guess, on this road.
well, I mean, you've done the hardest part where you're doing the work, right? Like you were telling me offline that you have like a little home studio, right? So, I mean, I can share some of the photos off your Instagram so people can have an idea if you're not
Yeah,
following
absolutely,
Actor already.
absolutely,
And if you want
absolutely.
to maybe just comment on a couple photos if you want,
Sure.
and then we pop you up here. So go follow Actor there. There's his handle right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so these portraits were shot in your home studio, eh?
Yes. This is
Huh.
this is my office where I'm sitting. This is my studio where I work. This is
Yeah,
one in everything. You know what? So that's the first photo you see. The person in glasses. Yeah.
yeah,
He's one of my very old friend, Rizwan. Very down to earth, very gentle and humble person,
right.
and extremely. He has achieved a lot in his life. Touch wood. So I was after him. I said, come over to my house. I want to take your portraits and things like that. Because he was extremely busy. And one day he took out time after office. He came to the house, and I started taking photos. He was a bit, shy, a little bit, but
Yeah,
you know what? Being a friend of a very, being your friend for like decades ago.
yeah.
So he opened up and he gave me his heartfelt smile. I like this photo because you know what? I myself feel that I connect with him in this portrait. I don't know what you feel about the connection, but I feel the
Mm,
connection in the portrait. And this is what I'm trying to achieve. Simplistic yet compelling, yet
right,
it gives
right.
you the connectivity. So
Well, I mean, he looks very warm, right? He looks very like approachable and warm and inviting,
yeah,
and it just like the photo screams to me like he's got a lot of stories to tell.
exactly.
Like he's got like he just has that look like he's got stories to tell. So
So yeah, so and when you ask me to join this bandwagon on this one your stream, I called Rizwan. I said, you know what, can I use your photo in my
mm,
IG and share as a promo photo? He said, yeah, well, go ahead.
yeah,
Thanks to him. Yeah,
excellent. I hope he's watching.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. So how do you have an approach with the people that you photograph to make them comfortable, or just kind of like let things unravel as it goes, or what's like your strategy? to
The
get these
stra-
like simplistic images?
the strategy is just to make them comfortable.
Mm,
Make them comfortable when they come. Like when I call them over, they come home. He's my younger brother.
okay.
So he, of course, he's comfortable with me, but he was not comfortable with the camera, of course, at the very first thing.
Yeah.
But then, what you just say, just, you talk, you talk, you talk. And then once, the person come into that zone, then
Mm,
I pick up my camera and then I said, hold on your thoughts there. Just be there.
right.
And you can see, though he was smiling at me, that, that we were cracking jokes and all this stuff, making fun of, each other. Of
Hmm.
course, he's my younger brother, so I can go as far as I
Yeah.
can make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he opens up, and this is the shot that I've taken. This is the one of the portrait that I've seen. The same shot.
Right.
Daniel Craig was sitting in the same manner, but in a different style. So I asked him. I said, what?
Right.
Would
Yeah.
you be a James Bond?
There you go. That's the pitch, eh? Just
Yeah.
be James Bond. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So he said, yeah, yeah, okay, I'll try to, and that's how
Yeah.
this portrait, this shot comes out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. And yeah, similar, just
Yeah. Similar.
different pose. Yeah.
This pose reminds me of back in Pakistan when we
Mm,
were growing up. Like, since I immigrated to Canada from Pakistan. We're growing up. We sit together, sometime on the floor, and we talk. We normally sit in this manner,
mm,
or sometime along the line, sometime on the floor when you sit, and
mm-hmm,
then we talk.
mm-hmm.
So what, this is the style that comes into my mind. Then I said, what,
Right.
could
Right.
you sit like that? And he sat, and then
Excellent.
uh, yeah, I captured that.
Excellent. And you're using off-camera flash here, or what kind of lighting
Yes,
are you using? Yeah.
I use single light.
Okay.
I was initially, my thought process to go for natural light, but you know what? Finding the right natural light is too difficult.
Yeah.
There are too many variables to manage.
Yeah. You
Bringing the
need. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so I moved that from natural light to single flashlight. That's it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There you go. Doesn't take much. Just
No,
black backdrop,
black
single
background.
light, and that's
I
it.
bought it from Amazon. Some, I don't know, some companies, I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
And it's just so you see this my shelf. I
Yeah.
put the backdrop on this shelf, and you know what? Put a chair or a stool, whatever, and ask them to sit, and then
Oh, behind you.
yeah, this shelf.
Okay. Hey, Roy.
So it's
Um,
simple and easy setup, nothing much to do.
yeah, no, you don't. I mean, I think sometimes people think that they need expensive gear and expensive studios and expensive equipment, but really, you just gotta get creative and just use what you have, right? Like you can even go to the dollar store and buy like a cheap black backdrop, and that could be your backdrop, right? Like you don't need the most expensive stuff. You just need to work, right? So,
And
which is sometimes the hardest part. You got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort, and eventually, you'll get good results. Like we were just talking offline about just like making stuff. Like for me, like I'll make something every day, but it's not because of like the outcome. It's just more about the process, right? So very similar to photography, where you just have to constantly do it and just get into the groove of it, where eventually you don't even have to think about your camera settings or your light stands or where the light is. You just know exactly what to do, and
it's
you don't even have to think about it. So, and that's where like the true magic comes, right?
yeah,
So, um, and then you tell me offline that you've photographed over 100 people.
yeah. So
Crazy, man.
I was thinking to showcase my work once I'll cross 1,000 portraits.
A
But
thousand. Okay.
yeah, 1,000. This is what I was planning to, but you know what? Thanks to my kids, as I said,
Mm,
I'm really blessed with my family,
mhm.
friends, my brothers, sisters, and all this stuff. They are very supportive. So my daughters jumped in. They said, you know what, you did some. They like the portraits, whatever. But you know
Yeah.
what? Other people are the best critics about my work. So
Right.
they said, you know what? They took my photos and they started posting into IG.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
they created the website. It is on the IG that they
Yeah.
post photos. Yes.
Excellent. So like, how are you what's your strategy for getting like 1,000 people?
I know a lot of people.
You just do you just do you just ask them, hey, I'm into black and white portraits. Like, do you mind? Would
You
you be
know, when I
interested? Like,
started, it was difficult, but now uh, finding time from people, it's still a difficult task.
time is the hardest part.
Yeah, calling them over and
Time,
then arranging some time.
yeah.
But yeah, so I've got a long list of friends that I wanted to shoot. They are not 1,000 people, but of course, if I'll just shoot 5, 10 photos of a person, that
Yeah.
becomes 5, 10
Got
portraits.
it. Yeah, yeah. It's not like 1,000 different people, right?
Yeah. So initially, when I started taking the photos, I used to take 100 shots of per person. But you know what? Then I said, no, you know, if I'll get good results in 10, 15 shots, that's it. So
Mm.
now I've reduced to only 5, 10 shots. I take it and
Yeah,
then
that's all right.
turn out, the way I want it to.
Yeah. And do you do any editing? Like, do you use Lightroom or Photoshop after?
Uh, you know what? When I was buying the lens, I chose the lens that it should give me enough capacity that I don't have to work after do the
Excellent.
post
That's
processing.
the dream.
Yeah. So I use Zeiss lens,
Mhm.
and it's a manual 35 mm fix. I sold all my lenses 7 years ago.
Mm.
I'm just keeping this one lens and just attached that lens. The
Yeah.
results are I'm quite satisfied with the results. The results are,
Excellent.
I don't have to do little,
No editing. That's the dream.
not much.
Yeah.
Slightly, just the light tonality and color control, and that's it. Or the black and white. In the black and white, it's
Yeah.
tonality. That's it. So you just take the shot, convert it into JPEG, done.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's the dream, man.
yeah. So,
You can even do you have a plan with after you've got like 1,000 portraits? Like, are you gonna try to make a book, or like how are you trying to gonna curate it somehow? Because that's a lot of stuff, man. You need to, I don't know, could make for a cool photo book or something.
so my background, I did my whatever education in accounting and finance,
Yeah,
and I'm the only one who strays away from the field. But other friends of mine, I'm just sharing the idea, how the idea pops in my mind
yeah,
regarding this portrait. So I wanted to, thank to all the friends that I'm connected with. They're very highly, super achievers in their
yeah,
fields. So I want to compile a book and just give it to them as a thanks that they
yeah.
are part of my life's journey, to whom
Excellent.
I call them friends, my dear friends. So, and then I said, you know what? From friends, I said, let's include the family, let's include
Hmm.
everyone, let's broaden the project. Whomsoever I've interacted into my life, just bring it into the picture. So at least
Oh,
it will be my life's journey. These
right.
are be connected. It's a long project, but let's see how far I
That's
can take
cool,
it.
man. I like that. I like that idea because you're like documenting your life, and you're also kind of documenting their life too, because you're bringing everyone together, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
And you know what? We owe a lot to our friends. I owe a
Yeah,
lot to you. You know what? I met with you. You
yeah,
created that platform in Toronto, which I was looking for a long time. Even
yeah.
I once I tweeted to the banks, CIBC, TD, and all these big banks,
Right.
that, what I need some sponsors, and then they said, you know what, they are willing to sponsor anything that I want, but I couldn't find the platform.
Yeah.
So what, luckily I got connected with you. I got the platform where I interacted, and what, things
Yeah.
started to forming into a different level, that I said, what, now I need to work on my different ideas.
Yeah. Again, that's just the power of just meeting people, right? Because you never know what's gonna happen, right? Because sometimes you meet a lot of people, right? And people know different things, and they know different people, and they put you in touch with, so and so, or they, mention like a service or an app or whatever. Like, it could be like to me, it's like always the smallest things that are always like the biggest things that turn out like not right away, but like down the line.
Yeah,
It's the small things that really matter a lot because it's, oh, if I didn't talk to that person, I wouldn't know this, and then that wouldn't happen. Like, it's like a snowball effect.
yeah.
So It's cool, man. It's exciting. Like I love the project. I love the book project. I think it's a great idea. Especially like after COVID, like where everyone's been so disconnected and all the craziness to like actually like produce that. It's cool.
Yeah, COVID has created a lot of disarray in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's,
Like
it's
people are just like longing, even like at our meetups. I think sometimes it's even just about like meeting people. It's not even about photography sometimes for some people, right? It's just about like talking to people. So
yeah, and they talk about the brain fog and all this stuff. It was so looks so, bookish thing, but now,
yeah.
it's one can feel it that loneliness could cause so much damage to your brain.
Yeah. No, it's hopefully there's things keep improving. Like how did you use the pandemic like for your own needs for photography? Like did you shoot around the house or did you just like not shoot or what'd you do?
Yeah, so I planned myself. So last year on my wedding anniversary, I asked my wife, get ready. I just wanted to, photograph you and my kids. So I prep it for like a couple of days. The lighting and all this thing, and how do I
Mm,
take it? What kind of pose I'm gonna ask them. And then now i now I learned in this way that initially we just pick up the camera, take the photos, whosoever is wearing what and whatever, and then how they look. It was not relevant to the people, don't those who carry the camera. They just take the
mhm.
shot. But for me now, I think in a different manner. I plan everything. That's where the techniques where we were talking about. Once camera
Yeah.
becomes the tool, you plan ahead. You plan
Right.
everything, you craft everything. So I asked my wife to that you should wear this, sit like that, this would be the pose.
Right. So you're like guiding your wife with certain
Yes.
poses. Yeah.
Yeah. And then took some shots. Yeah, those turned out to be good. I didn't share my family photos on my IGs.
I guess, yeah. Well, it's your family, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
your call on that stuff. But
exactly. So uh, yeah, so that's where things started to putting into the place.
yeah, and that's what separates a lot of people, right? Like your attention to detail and how you try to pose people, and all those details. I think separates people,
Yes.
right? So,
And this is what, again, I would say, I cannot thank enough to all these people, those who are on YouTube, the contributors, and then
mm,
they educate you, they share their work, but they also give you the ideas. It's
yeah,
basically plan ahead.
plan ahead. Yeah,
Planning is the key for any good photograph. For that
yeah,
matter, my elder brother, he's also a hobbyist, but he's like his work is so professional. You'll
yeah,
be amazed to see that.
exactly.
uh, and he always tells me that, Akhtar, you know what, plan it, and then just
Yeah.
take the shots. Don't worry if it doesn't come out
Are
right.
you a planner though? Like, are you a planner type of person in general, or do you just
I
usually?
plan, but
Yeah,
sometimes I don't plan.
yeah,
So kind of in between, But now, after taking all these, these shots, I said, planning is much more better to get
yeah.
a final result, because these photos last like,
They're
if you
timeless. They're
yeah.
timeless. When it's your family and friends, yeah. When it means something to you, timeless.
Yeah, and I normally print them out and give them as a gift. So
Well,
it
that's
is
great.
it is
Yeah.
also an aspiring thing when you go and visit their families and friends. You see your photographs, displaying on the
You, you know
shelves.
what? It makes for great birthday gifts. It makes for great Christmas gifts. It makes for great holiday gifts. Like it just has such much more personal impact than just a gift from like a store, right? Because it's something that you've made with that person.
Yeah,
So like sometimes I get like photos of myself for gifts and they just mean more because so much attention was put to that
yeah,
gift, right? So it's
yeah,
it's a great idea, really.
yeah. And being a finance person, being analytical guy, so I did the analysis on this one. I'll
Did
just
you?
share 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I love
I
it.
don't
I
want to
love
be
it.
too much philosophical here, but
Break it down, man. Break it down.
so I was thinking that what, on an average, there are 4% in the family, and if you take
Right.
a photograph, at least 5% will be liking the photograph, the one who's taking the
Yeah.
photograph, and the family members.
Yeah.
You cannot go wrong on any photograph minimum 5 people will like it.
It's true.
And
Good.
fortunately, the photos that I've taken, you also, like those photos. So, it people are adding into the list.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And like and also like the photos are for you and your family, right? Like we just said, like they're like it's you're documenting your family, you're documenting your life. Like it has so much more meaning to it.
Exactly.
Like it just I don't know. It's just I guess a tip that you would give for people that want to get into like portraits or black and white is to I guess is to plan ahead, eh? Without that would be your first kind of tip is to
Yes.
have a plan. Like where are you gonna shoot? What's the lighting gonna be? Like how are you gonna pose the person? Like I guess also like what's the story that you want to tell, right? Because sometimes stories are different. So what's the story that you want to tell?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Planning is utmost important. Utmost important.
yeah,
And then you know what, the as you was rightly pointed out on this one, that breaking the ice is just to make the person comfortable, so that
yeah,
their natural feelings comes out.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you
some
gotta think you wanna be James Bond, like, just have something silly. It's like, to say something
yeah,
silly to make the person laugh?
yeah. And then once they opens up, then you know what, then that's where you get the right picture.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
100%. You gotta make the person comfortable. Because we just said offline, like, whenever you say "act natural," like, no one acts
no
natural.
one
It's
like that.
impossible. So
I've
you can't say "act natural." You have to, like, go, like, another way,
Yeah, yeah. And
right?
I've seen people, when I pick up the camera, what, bring the lens closer to them, because since I use 35 millimeter, I cannot,
Yeah.
keep myself at a fixed place. I need to
Mhm.
move. And for getting a tight portrait, a nice portrait, sometimes I need to, go closer, 4 feet
Yeah.
close to the person. And then, the person gets stiff because they become so
Yeah, it become yeah, n
intimidated about
yeah,
this.
well, yeah. Well, it's a human thing, right? Like, I mean, there's again, that's where breaking the ice is so key, like making the person, especially like when it's not your like, you're like shooting your family and friends. So for you, it's a little bit warmer. But
Yeah.
imagine like getting a stranger. That's even like next level, right? So because we've had people like portrait people that shoot models and such, and they always say breaking the ice is so key and making the person comfortable, because if the person's not comfortable, then you're not going to get a good shot. The person's not going to have the same look. So
Yeah. You don't get the vibes in the photo.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially in black and white, because black and white is like we were just saying offline also is that I asked you if the people that you're shooting ask for color, and they do want color, right?
Yeah, they do want color,
They
but
do,
you
and then
realize what
and then
black and white has more power. It is more
yeah, you
control.
sell them on the black and white,
Yeah.
and then after it's like, "No, I want the black and white,"
Right.
because sometimes you don't know what's what, right? So, it's
So true.
interesting.
So true.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Now, do you have any goals, like, in the summertime? Like, do you have any like, are you gonna shoot all the time, like, in your studio, or are you gonna try to venture outside too once it gets nicer out?
Um, um, I realized back 5, 7 years ago, I used to carry camera all the time with me, and in summer we go for picnics and all that. And there were moments, quite often, a lot. I captured good moments, but you know what? As I said to you, that controlling light, the variables are too high. If it is windy, if it is light, if it
Mhm.
is wave, whatever, sometimes you just cannot control all this.
Yeah.
So you don't get actually the results that you're expecting. And when you take photographs of other people outside, they
Mhm.
expect the photo will come good.
Mm.
So you know what? Once, if you cannot control the variable, it's just a waste of time to me
Right,
right now. It is a
right.
good approach. You can take it, but it's hard. I also, inspired by the geometrical photography that people do, or the landscape, or the building, and
Yeah,
then you know those things I also like it. And one of the lady I'm following, she's in Chicago, Claire Sabune. Her
okay.
photograph have been displayed in a lot of places, and
Yeah,
then geometrical. approach, and the
Okay.
playing with the contrast and playing with the highlights and
Okay.
lowlights is amazing. You know what? I like
She
her
on,
work.
she on Instagram?
Yeah,
What's her? Do you know her handle real quick?
I
I'm gonna try to
think
show up photos.
uh,
Clarissa, you said?
Clarissa Bonet, Clarissa
Yeah. Yeah.
Bonet.
Clarissa M. Bonet.
Yeah, some,
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, let me just show for the people when you talk about geometrical. Let's show people here. Yeah, I see what you mean.
yeah. See how she
Interesting.
plays with the light, the blacks and whites and
Look at
tones.
this. I love this. Holy,
Yeah,
that's cool.
and she uses Hasselblad.
And
And
she's.
once I was, texting and talking to her, and I asked her about X1D Mark II. She
Hmm.
said it's a slower camera, and so I said I also use manual lens, and I take my whole sweet time to take photograph. And this
Wow.
is the tip I learned from Leica. This, they say, what, take your time, compose it, and you just don't compose photos from the camera. You compose it in your brain, and then you bring it to the lens, and then you
Yeah.
wait for the right moment to capture that
Yeah.
thing. And this is what she was saying, that Hasselblad is also. So I
Wow.
haven't used it, but I what I heard from YouTube and from people, that the focus is comparatively less, takes more time to focus on the camera than any
Mm.
competitors.
Wow. I like how she gets just. That's cool.
Yeah,
How she just frames the people like that.
exactly.
Excellent. Gotta check her out. I know. I still love this one too. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And these are all two reflection of one person.
And like, is she just doing street, or is this model for? Like, is this a model?
That's a model, I
The
guess.
model, right?
Yeah,
Like yeah, because it's too perfect for it to be street.
yeah.
So
So, as what we are discussing, plan ahead. She plans ahead.
yeah, yeah, she plans.
And this is in natural light, so she goes, she plans,
Yeah, scouts the light.
and then what,
Right,
and then
right.
shot.
So would you be into doing this kind of photography like down the road? Like, would you be into doing this kind of stuff?
Yeah, this is somehow, it looks a call to me. You know what?
Wow.
As I said, what, there should be a punchline in the photos, especially in black
Hmm.
and whites. Their punchline is more clearer and broader, in a broader term, uh,
Right.
compared to colored photos.
Yeah, man. There's your Hasselblad.
Yeah, she's using X1D Mark II.
Just casual gear setup. Excellent, man. Very cool. I gotta check her out. She has some really interesting. I love how she frames people. Yeah, man. Stuff like this.
Yeah. See how
Wow.
amazing this photo is.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And you could do this downtown Toronto.
Yes.
You got
Yes.
stuff like that. You can do that
Yeah.
downtown in the financial district.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent, man. Cool. Well, thanks for the tip. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's all about like just framing people, eh? Just framing people. Just like it could, be an inch, could be a foot, but sometimes that's all that really matters. Sometimes,
Yeah.
like it's and that comes with practice too. Like the more you practice, the more that you're gonna know where to position people and frame people, and
True.
that's just half the fun.
True. True.
Yeah,
You should know your tool very well.
yeah. You should like eventually you shouldn't even think about it. You just go.
Yeah, it should be on your
Right?
fingertips. Quickly
Yeah,
put the tool,
yeah.
and then
You just go. So like, what are you looking to like learn on? Like, what are you looking to like like improve on with your work? Like, is there something that you're trying to work on right now?
Currently, my project is just for the portrait one. This is one that I'm working on. I also down the road, on the landscape side, I want to, capture some nice details on
Yeah.
the on what do you call it, Grand Canyon.
Oh,
I love
you
that
going
picture.
this year? Are you going this year?
No, I've been there a couple of years back before COVID.
Mm.
Took
Mm-hmm.
some shots, but you know what? That time I was using D60,
Mm.
D60 with Voigtlander 58 mm 1.4. Voigtlander is an amazing lens, but you know what? The the focusing element is a bit tricky. It's a bit soft on the focusing side. Picture comes out crisp. You don't have
Mm.
to think anything. Just take it from raw and put it on the
Yeah.
printer, and that's it, done. Those
Right.
are that lens is so good. But on the softer sides, then I swap it with the Zeiss one, and
Okay.
so I want to go there once again and capture.
Okay.
I've upgraded my camera body as well. Now
I like. Oh, I like to go with you.
I sure definitely will
Yeah, I just
make
want
a
to.
drive
Are
down
you
there.
are you gonna go this year, next year? Like, do you have a plan for that?
Not this year, maybe in a year or two, maybe. But
Yeah.
my plan is to drive down there, not to
Oh,
fly.
okay.
Yeah, so explore
Nice. And you can like do other things.
yeah, the beauty of the nature as well. If something come across that appeals.
Oh man, that'd be a fun drive, eh?
Yeah. Um, to a couple of days back, I was watching. There was a documentary on Saudi Arabia, and they just opened the tourist thing,
Hmm.
and you can tour that. Their countryside. It's not a countryside, I would say. There's the deserts and mountain, whatever they have,
Mm.
are so beautiful.
Yeah.
One of the tomb that they discovered related to the Petra in Jordan of the
Mm.
same descents, and then what? So wanted to capture something like that as well.
In Saudi Arabia, you mean?
Yeah, in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
because the mountain range is it's totally
Yeah.
different than any other place.
Yeah. I'd love to. I'd love to go there too. Like it's. I think it'd be a great trip overall, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these are all plans. I don't know when it will be able to complete that, but you know what? You need
You'll make
to
it happen. You'll make it happen.
mm, just plan it and then.
Yeah, you'll make it happen. 100%. You know, I guess until then, you just make do with what you have, and you can go wherever you can go, and just keep practicing, right? Like that's all there's to it.
So
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Now, um, are you following anyone specifically on Instagram that really inspires your work right now, or is it just on YouTube that you kind of get tips and tricks?
um, I mostly watch these people, like as I mentioned, Peter Lindbergh's work.
Yeah,
I normally watch his documentary. I watch it already 10 times. Whenever I find time, I just go watch
yeah.
it.
Is it and it's on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Peter Lindbergh.
Yeah, Peter
What's
Lindbergh.
the documentary called? Let me look it
It's
up.
if you type Peter Lindbergh, I guess you'll find it.
Uh,
Yes, he's a
we're
German.
going to select. Is it the eye?
Uh, yeah,
The eye. I think it's called the eye. That's what's coming up. Peter Lindbergh was the only German in the select group of
yes,
photographers
yes,
who have found international acclaim in the.
that's the one.
That's the one. Okay, man. So this is worth watching for people.
Worth watching. Worth watching.
Okay, so and what'd you like take away from it? Like, was there a certain message that you took away, or a
Uh,
certain?
so he's also a big fan of black and white photography.
Yeah.
He's mostly into fashion and women photography.
Okay.
Um, so the thing that I like about him is he pulls out the feeling of the person and brings it into the frame. It's
Yeah,
not
man.
like a smile or attitude, but he brings a special touch into that. And once he processed those, there his processing.
Yours is
Yeah,
what's there.
yeah,
Wow, man. He's good.
he's amazing.
He's
Amazing.
good. Do you have a favorite photo from him that's on here somewhere?
Uh, Not any, but you know what? I like mostly all of his photos.
Man, yeah.
See, for that matter, if you see the first on the right hand side, this lady,
This
this
one?
one, yes,
This one
yes.
there? Yeah.
See how simplistic it is, and
Mm,
yet it is very powerful.
mm. Is it
So
is it is it her look that makes it? Is it her eyes that make it powerful, you think?
yes, his
Yeah.
her eyes, her looks, her style. It's just the hair just gives you a
Yeah. And I guess what she's wearing too, right?
yeah.
I
It's
guess
just
the
like
white backdrop.
casually she's in front of camera, and then she's daring. She's not
Yeah.
scared with the lens and everything. No.
No. She's
Yeah.
in. So this is the kind of work that you want to make? Is
Yes.
what inspires
Yes.
you. Cool,
Yeah.
man. You can do it.
Yeah.
You'll make it happen.
And if
I
you
love
see Antonio
love
Platon, he is also amazing. He is the one who has taken most of the photographs of the U.S. presidents.
how do you spell his name? Antonio
Just write Platon, Platon. Yeah,
Platon?
yeah, yeah. There it is, I guess.
Oh. Oh yeah, this dude. Yeah, this guy is awesome.
This guy is amazing.
Oh man. I love this Christopher Walken one.
Yeah.
So Christopher Walken. Um yeah, it's almost like it's almost like a character. It's not like to me it's like not a photograph, it's almost like a
Yes.
caricature. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like it's like a not a cartoon, but not a photograph, you know?
Non-photograph. Yeah. He has got this. I watched his documentary on Netflix a couple of times.
Mm,
The documentary called Abstract, and he
okay.
uses his. There is a NASA developed some image processing tool, and then somehow it lands into his lab, and he uses that
Alright.
to process the photos, and then of course he does some post processing, of course, on the picture.
Yeah, no doubt. No
So
doubt. Still on? Jeez. Yeah, it's definitely his work is definitely different, eh?
yeah, his work is amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's interesting. Well, these are all life goals, eh?
Yeah,
These are all life goals.
and he uses Leica M6 with 35 millimeter.
Mm.
I don't know which f-stop he uses, but
Mhm.
35 millimeter, and he uses
Yeah,
SSD. So certainly,
yeah,
medium format would be the
yeah,
place to go.
yeah, it's interesting.
Because with full frame, you can go up to a certain level, but you know what? If you need to cross that level, you need to go into medium format. This is how I
Yeah,
presume. I don't know. Maybe
right,
it's right.
right. Yeah, our friend Jason, I'm not sure if he's watching, but he's into medium format and he creates some amazing work, right? So the photos just jump off the frame, like they're so good. So
Yeah.
excellent. So those two people you kind of like inspire you or like mentor you to like do, kind of have that work down the line.
They are my mentors, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
I learned a lot with them. I learned a lot with Sail Chong. I just want to give all the praise and thanks to them, because whatever learning I've got from these people.
Yeah.
And definitely Hasselblad ambassadors, they showcase their work. Yeah.
It's a great time. It's a great time for our sponsor, Hasselblad.
So
Um, no, it's good, man. Like you're doing all the right things. Like, what do you do like when you don't feel like shooting? Like when you're not motivated, do you have any like do you feel that way sometimes when you're not motivated or are you always motivated?
No, it happens to me. I
Mm,
sometimes I don't feel motivated, but you know what? In that phase of a time when I'm not motivated, I just go and check the images, on the web that is available,
yeah.
and sometime I use Pinterest, and then
Right.
I
Pinterest.
go
Yeah.
and I accumulate all these images into my folders. I say, this would be an idea, this would be an idea. So just throw it
Yeah.
in the
That's
folder.
good. That's a good tip.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always find Pinterest is like underrated. Like a lot of people don't use Pinterest, but
yeah,
sometimes you get good ideas off there.
yeah. But you know, after, like, I've saved a lot of portraits on
Yeah.
my folder, but it becomes a monotony to me now. Say,
Yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is that.
You're on it too much.
Yeah. So, so now I was thinking, well, you know what, maybe uh, I should, or maybe we'll both do this project one day.
Mm.
Just go stand in the financial district,
Yeah.
and then say, what, come. It's thanks to the financial district for an hour, and then just shoot whatever people comes in a natural
Right.
light. Of course, just do a setup in the environment that what the light would be good,
Yeah.
and use an external light to do it, and then what, take the shots and just give them as a thank you gesture.
For like the people that work there, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, kind of like a return back to the office kind of project.
yeah,
It's a great
yeah,
idea, man. Because people shot when everything was closed, when all the offices were closed. People shot that like all day, all night long. Now people are coming back to the office, so why don't yeah, we'll do a project around that.
yeah, something like that.
Interesting.
During
Good
lunchtime,
idea, man. It's a good idea.
once they're heading back, then what, we can balance the light and then
Mm.
capture some good
Who would
light.
you talk? Who would we contact for that? The property owner?
Uh, no, on the walkway we can do it. It's allowed, right?
Yeah.
If
I
we
don't know. I
don't,
don't know if you can set up lights though, because they're pretty. I don't know about lights though. That's the only thing.
we can use just single light, and that's it.
We'll hide the light. We'll hide the light. Um, yeah, it's a good idea though. I don't know. I always like having like a not like a series, but like a focus, right? When you're shooting, because especially like with street, like you need to have some sort of focus.
Right.
If it's like people on the train platform, or people like leaving the train station, or people with like maybe it's raining and everyone has an umbrella. I always like having like a focus because that way you can make like a photo series,
Please, yeah,
right? So instead of just like one person with an umbrella, you can have like 10 photos with people with umbrellas.
umbrellas, yeah,
So therefore, it becomes like not a book, but like a series where everything kind of like hopefully fits together, right? Because it gives you more of a focus.
exactly.
That's what I like when I do street. Like either unless I find like a really cool place to shoot, I'll just sit there and wait for something to happen. And if one cool thing happens or if 10 cool things happens, just shoot that. Because that way you have a series of events that happens at this one corner, which sometimes is cool, but sometimes you need like a lot of patience
Oh yes,
because you're leaving it up to like people,
yeah.
and you don't have any control over it, right?
So this reminds me of what you just mentioned. That,
Mm.
there's a British photographer, Alan Scheller. He's a Leica ambassador. He-
Ellen,
Alan
Helen,
Scheller,
Helen with H
Alan
or
Alan Scheller, Schallr, something like that. I don't know. I guess he's on my. Sorry about misspelling his last name.
Scheller.
Yeah,
What's the first name?
Alan.
Ellen with an E.
No, Alan,
Oh,
Allen.
Alan
Yeah,
Scheller. Photography. Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Okay. I see what you mean.
yeah. So he does the same thing that you're talking about. He just walks on the London street and all these,
Yeah. Interesting.
and then he plays with the highlights and low tones and gray
Jeez,
tones.
look at the lighting he uses, man. Like, how does he get it so perfect? Does
He's
he
a
have to
light.
call someone to like turn a light on or to turn a light off? Like, look how perfect this is.
Yeah. See how amazing it is.
Wow. Look at this one. Like, how does he do this? Interesting. Yeah, sometimes if you're patient, good things happen.
Yeah,
Is this him? Is this Alan?
yeah, that's him. That's him.
Okay.
That's him.
Wow. It's great.
Yeah. So
Excellent.
lot of patience, lot of
Yeah.
walking and exploring the places and finding the time, which time the light comes to which area.
Mhm. Mhm. About scouting the light,
Yes, yes,
and knowing when the light hits at certain times of the day. Once again, have be a plan. Be prepared. Have a plan.
exactly, exactly.
Love that. Jeez. Wow,
Planning
this
is
guy's good, man.
so these people are my inspirations.
Yeah, they're good ones, man.
Yeah, extremely good. I cannot be nowhere near to them.
Well, you can just put on the work, and you can.
Yeah, just
Like you
continue.
can, you can get this at Union Station. You just need the right setup,
Yes.
and just need them to turn off the lights. Can you turn off the lights at Union for 2 seconds? Thanks. Imagine that, eh?
Yeah.
Wow, excellent. Yeah, sometimes you get like really cool ideas from people like just off Instagram or Pinterest or YouTube. Like sometimes you're like, how did that person do that? Like how like but then you gotta remember like they all started from the start. Like they all started at zero and they just worked themselves up. So
No,
obviously
I like your YouTube and you put it on IG as well. That you need to start from somewhere and all start from zero.
dude,
Even
yeah,
start from
everyone starts at zero.
so
Yeah, that's true. I think people have a misconception because especially on social media, everyone just sees the wins. Like it's always win, 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 but no one sees the work behind the scenes, where
exactly.
it takes someone 10 years to make a photo.
Yes,
So that's and we all know social media is like that, but it's just human nature just to like think that you can't do it. But meanwhile, it's like, well, if you put in 10 years of work, you can do it.
yeah.
Except you don't. People aren't showing all the work that goes behind because that's not really that doesn't all the likes. People just want the home run. They don't want to see all like the swings before, right? So,
True,
but
true.
everyone starts at zero. Everybody. So it's just a matter of like, are you willing to put in the work, right? And
And the positivity of what? Okay, if you fail, then how do you take this failure? Or do you
yeah,
see it as a learning aspect, or we just
yeah,
take
it's how you react to it. And it's not even yeah, like you said, it's not even failure. It's just learning because everyone's gonna fail. Like it's guaranteed,
yeah, of
right? Because
course,
if you're not failing, then you're not really trying anything new. Like it's impossible not to fail when you're trying to like do work like that. Like
exactly.
but don't say it's failure, just say that's just part of the like we just said, like, it's part of the process, like, just keep doing it over and
Yeah,
over again until, eventually things will get easier, but,
exactly. You
you
master
know
your technique. You think whatever the thought process running in your mind doesn't meet the technical details that it is required to get it done.
Yeah,
And once you practice, the technical details comes in and just sits into the place, and then it
yeah,
shows up in your photos. So
yeah. Well, people, we're so used to having, like, the instant gratification where it has to happen, like, right away. Meanwhile, like, it takes years, right? So, um there is no magic bullet. You just gotta keep working. Like it just sounds like it just sounds so simple, but like when you actually start to like do it, it's like, oh, this isn't so easy,
yeah, yeah,
right? Because it's easy to talk about it, but once you actually start doing it, it's like, oh, well, this. How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? How does this happen? And all these things, But until you actually like get into it,
exactly.
and then like you said at the start of the show, where you like meet people, ask questions, go out for walks, meet more people, do it over again.
Yes,
That's how you build. That's how you build it. So.
and it's a continuous work.
It is, like, it's never like, it's like it's never you're
It's a
never
continuous
really done. like you're never really done, you know. Like there's always something to improve on.
Yeah.
Right?
Before that, you know what, once I'll take a photo and then I said, you know what, that this is good. Nowadays, when I took a photo, I said, what next? I've got to get it done.
Yeah, like what
This is
next? Like
over,
what
and
can I
I'm not
improve
looking
on?
for something else.
Yeah, you're always looking for something to improve on. You're always looking something to like one up the last photo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what separates a lot of people, right? Because people will just like, okay, I'm done. I had a, you know, but people want to keep improving.
Yeah.
And that's what separates everyone from becoming better and better and better. And, you know,
Yes.
so
Yes. So
yeah, it's interesting. Like it's, well, I mean, you're obviously putting in the work. You know, you want to, you know, photograph 1,000 people or, you know, not 1,000, but close to it. And you'll do it, man. I have no doubt. Like it's going to happen.
let's see.
I hope to be included in this 1,000 people thing. By the way,
Sure, sure. Anytime. Whenever you feel.
I just like a shameless plug. Like, oh, I hope he invites
No, definitely.
me.
No, I owe you a lot to you and
Yeah,
Paul. Oh, sorry, Nick.
yeah, Nick. Yeah,
You two are the first two guys when I met you on Meetup
yeah,
group, and then
yeah,
come to you guys and met with you, and you just gave us all this friendly comfort, and then you know what?
yeah.
That's
No,
how.
it's our pleasure, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And you know, that's just I don't know. Like it's it's like just meet people and talk and make friends and that's how it kind of goes, right? So
Maybe you know what? Next Meetup group, whenever you'll do,
yeah,
I'll try to find some time, some light, and some right, posture or to poses
yeah,
or for the group members, and start documenting them as well as their progress.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
yeah.
It's a great idea. I think we need more of that too because we don't really have a lot of that for some reason. I'm not sure why, but yeah, it's a good idea. Because I'm all about like documentation too, and you know, it's fun to like look back too, because like I'm looking back at old photos from like 5 years ago, and it's always like fun. You know, on Facebook you get those like memories, and
Yeah,
you look back on all this stuff that you've done like 10 years ago. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, I forgot about that, and sometimes it's cool to like look back on stuff like that. Not like right away, but like years down the road, where it's oh yeah, this person.
yeah.
It's interesting, right?
And just it just refreshes the moment that you have enjoyed it
Yeah,
with
it's like
them.
the moment, right? It's about a moment too. So it's so key too. Like moments matter, right? So
Mm,
it's a good idea, man. We should talk about doing that kind of stuff too, especially when it
absolutely,
gets really nice out.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm all-
100%, man.
Yes.
Well, we're almost at the hour. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Do you have any? First of all, thanks again for doing this. You
No,
crushed.
thank you.
You crushed it.
I'm being very thankful to you and honored to be on your show.
No, it's
It's a
my
great.
pleasure, Brian's pleasure, Evan's pleasure. I don't know if Evans is still here, but yeah. Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts for the audience? Any advice you
Uh,
want to give people? Or
just I would say if you want to convert your camera to the tool, just
mm,
do the drill, plan ahead,
yeah,
think image in your brain first. That's the main sensor that drives the show, and that drives
yeah,
the everything. And then carve that out with the tool. Once that thing has been achieved, then nothing is
love it.
impossible.
Love it. Wise words. Thanks so much, man, for doing this. Just hang back for 2 minutes when we go offline.
Sure.
And thanks everyone for watching. Please like this video, and this will be on Spotify tomorrow for all your listening pleasure. And Brian's back next week. Evans, I have no idea. And we'll be back with another guest. Yeah, we have another guest next week for something else. And yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. And once again, no outro music. So just a lonely clap for us.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Pat.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. Bye.